Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Central Time. I'm an independent author, an avid reader, and a cat mom of 4. And today we are continuing the series on Dungeon Crawler Carl with book number 3, and that is The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. Let's get into it. So coming in with the book blurb, we have, welcome to the Iron Tangle. Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, have to team up with other contestants not just to survive, but to solve a deadly puzzle in this third mind-twisting novel in the addictive Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinniman, now with bonus material exclusive to this print edition. Earth has been transformed into the set of the galaxy's most-watched game show, Dungeon Crawler World, a nightmarish multi-level video game-like dungeon filled with traps, monsters, and mind-blowing puzzles. Carl and Donut have survived so far, but this 4th level is unlike anything they could imagine. The Iron Tangle, an impossibly complicated subway system tied together into a knot of trains of all kinds, from classic steam engines to sleek modern cars. Up is down, down is up, close is far. The cars are filled with monsters, the railway stations aren't always what they seem, and the exit is perpetually just a few stops away. The top 10 list is populated, and Carl and Donut have made it. But that popularity comes with a price. They each now have a bounty on their head. They must work with other crawlers to solve the puzzle of the floor, but how can they do that when they don't know who to trust? The secret to unraveling it all may be hidden in the passages of a seemingly useless book. Welcome, crawlers. Welcome to the 4th floor of the dungeon. So, like I said, this is book number 3 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This book started out as a series of indie books that rose to popularity, were picked up by a Big 5 publishing house, and there may or may not be spoilers for books 1 through 3 coming up. I'll try to place the card up above for part 1, but you've been warned already. So we're like the description said, we're on floor 4. This is a railway system. Something that is going on carried over from the last book is that the system's AI, the thing that's overseeing the dungeon for the Borant Corporation, is that it is angry at the Borant Corporation because at the end of the 3rd floor, people were supposed to get these celestial boxes because they did such an amazing job destroying things and surviving damage and surviving an epic boss. The Borant Corporation couldn't afford to give them these boxes because they are seemingly bankrupt. And so they fought it, they vetoed all the boxes, and the Borant Corporation is taking out on them by giving celestial level boxes to lower level, like putting celestial level items in lower level boxes. And like a couple other gimmicky things are happening. Another thing that I absolutely loved about this book that the 2nd book did as well, and I'm hoping the 4th book does, I'm going to be starting that one later today, is that it just jumps right in without preamble. It doesn't do, meanwhile, back in the previous book, this happened. Like, no. The author trusts that you've read the book. They don't dumb it down for the sake of stupidity. Like, that they just jump in, they expect you to have read the 1st book, they expect you to have read them in order, and this is something that I really appreciate, because so many books that are in a series take time to jump back and be like, meanwhile, back in this other book, this happened. Meanwhile, back in this other book, this happened. And it's like, yes, I remember, I read it, I was there with you. It's just kind of refreshing to see. So with this one, like the first 2, I found the pace to be very fast, which I appreciated. I read this one in just a couple days. I'm giving myself about a week to read each of them, which may not be enough time. We'll see how it goes. The pace was fast. This one is more plot-driven than the previous 2. It still is a focus on character-driven, but it does have more plot aspects that pull the story along than the previous 2 books. So again, you have that strong character development that we've come to know and love from Matt Dinniman. Lovable characters, even in their flaws. Something, again, that I'm so glad to see is being kept up is Carl's mantra of "you will not break me." It's trying to get him to sabotage the other people in the dungeon for his own personal gain, and he's refusing to do that. Again and again, to the possible detriment of himself and his companions, because it's the right thing to do, because it's what he should be doing as a human being. don't get pedantic. Yes, he is a primal now, but like he's still a human being. That is who he is. He's just playing as a primal. The Hecla storyline that got started at the end of the second book, where she sends Katya over to be in Carl's group, to be part of the royal court of Princess Donut, is resolved with a bang. Like, it's been resolved in a way that I was not expecting. I was expecting something completely different. I should know better by now, because this is the third book now. I should know that what I'm expecting is not necessarily what I will get. And Katya grows a backbone. Like, it takes her a good while into this book to grow a backbone. But she grows a backbone and she sticks up for things, and it's wonderful. It's great to see this kind of character development. And the characters continue to develop. Princess Donut has her on personality when she's doing the talk shows and the game shows, and like they're asked to like narrate like commercials or something in this one, and she goes off on a rant about Cocker Spaniels because she hates dogs because she's a cat. And then we get to see her then we get to see Princess Donut's true colors and who she actually is. And it's incredibly refreshing to see her turn it on and turn it off. That we have that bit from, I believe it's the second book, that heartbreaking line that she gives, the "I'm not as dumb as I pretend to be, I know she's dead" line, that I knew that line was coming. It had been spoiled for me, but it still made me tear up when I got to. That we're seeing more of that sincerity in her, that we're seeing more of the real Princess Donut, and not just who she pretends to be because she's trying to gain sympathy and support to survive the dungeon. So that's nice that we have these quiet moments that happen with Princess Donut where she's like, hey, I'm a person too. Yes, I'm a cat, don't be pedantic. But it's just wonderful to see that we're getting this side of her character. Something else that I absolutely loved was that Carl realizes that he has to get chat information, because there's like an interworld chat room basically that you have direct messages between the crawlers if you've met them in person in the dungeon. I think it's through fist bump that they get past credentials, but they solve the dungeon together, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, because the whole thing is a puzzle. Like, the whole thing is a puzzle. The fact that he crowdsources the answer, then he's like, okay, I have an idea, but there's hundreds of different railway lines, and all the stations have the same numbers, and some of them intersect, and some of them don't, and some of them are named lines, and the other ones are color lines, and like they're coming up with colors that aren't even real colors. He crowdsources the answer. That he essentially builds this great big whiteboard. He and Mordecai, but Mordecai gets put in timeout for reasons that he refuses to go into, which I'm hoping will come out in a later book, because Mordecai is becoming a more and more interesting character as the books progress. In the first book, he was just the training guy, that he was the NPC trainer. In the second book, he becomes their manager. In this book, he's largely absent, even though the whole point of Princess choosing the child actor path was to get him as a guide for the rest of the dungeons. So that's very interesting. This is Abby. She's not on camera a lot. As you can see, she doesn't want to be on camera today. That's okay. He and Mordecai start crowdsourcing the solution to the puzzle. And then Mordecai gets put in timeout for reasons. Carl and Katya and Princess Donut, along with Elle and Imani and Batista and like all these other people that we've met in the previous books, exchange information with everybody that they've met and everybody that they end up meeting, and they to come together to share information about the lines and crowdsource it. And like, we're starting to see other crawlers stick up for Carl, because it's like, yes, I'm an idiot, I never said I wasn't, but he's actually brilliant. He's the one who takes the risks, which again is brilliant. It speaks to his character. It aligns with his backstory. He's a Coast Guard vet. He's used to jumping into the water to save people, even though that's not necessarily the smartest thing to do. Like, this is who he is. This is what he did. This is who he is. It's how it shaped him as a person before the world literally collapsed. And I wonder, like, lately he's been saying, like in the first 3 books, he says the "you will not break me" to himself. It's an inner monologue. It's a promise he makes to himself. I wonder if we'll start to see other characters take up that chant in their own way. Like, I feel like we're starting to see it in this book, that other characters are helping each other out and are talking to each other, even when it's a perceived detriment to themselves. And I'm wondering if that's something more that we'll see, something that we'll see more of. So here's hoping. Have you read the Dungeon Crawler Carl books? I'm glad you're here. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've touched on, or just let me know what books you're reading. That's Malcolm. He doesn't like to be on camera as much as Loki, but Loki is eating lunch right now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.